we know Jorginho's strengths and his weaknesses, and he's proven a much better player than I think a lot of us fans expected when we signed him for 12 million, to the point we're all happy he got a new contract. We need to see if Partey can get up to anywhere near his 22-23 level.
How do we reinvest that and get guaranteed better than Partey in 22-23? It's difficult, so all we can do is hope for the 22-23 Partey to return.
I think there's a little nucleus of players as well that this season is a massive season for them. It's either do or die, and Partey's in that group.
Welcome back to AFTV, welcome back to the Emirates Stadium. It's Arsenal versus Bayer Leverkusen for our fourth friendly, but it is the first of 3 matches in a row at the Emirates Stadium. Of course, that third one is when it really matters, the kick-off to the Premier League season. I'm here with Turkish, I'm here with Laurie. We're going to look ahead to, well, Kai Havertz potentially facing his former team, Granit Xhaka maybe back facing his former team, but more importantly, what do we want and need to see from Arsenal, who now have a fully fit squad back and available? I don't know, that's what we're going to debate here today. But welcome back from the US, my friend. How are we?
I'm all good, man. Just caught up with the whole jet lag body clock thing. I think today is my first day of, London time again, so I'm good.
I think we're understanding why the players probably aren't going to kick a ball for a week, from that Liverpool game to now, because they probably need that time to recover as well, Laurie.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys must be wondering what you come back to, innit? I mean, like, you've been away for a while in the sun, enjoying everything. Come back to England, it's all kicking off. So.
Yeah.
Hey, man, let's hope that the football can start to focus people's minds in another way. Because they say one thing about sport is that it brings people together. So let's hope that over the next couple of days things quieten down and we can discuss more enjoyable things.
Yeah, absolutely. And when it comes to this game here at the Emirates Stadium, this is quite unusual that we'd have 2 Emirates games before the kick-off of the season. I remember the old format of the Emirates Cup was actually to play on a Saturday and a Sunday.
Yeah.
So we'd have sort of 2 games then, but it kind of always felt like sort of one weekend of football. Arsenal are actually getting a couple games in with good time before the Premier League kicks off, Turkish, which is an interesting approach.
It's interesting, but I think it makes sense. Where, a lot of people are mentioning how far some of our players went in the international tournaments.
Yeah.
So I think when you look at those players, getting as many friendlies as you can close to the season, it'll help them. The Declan Rices, the Sakas, the Salibas, for example, the ones we didn't see on the US tour. So I think it makes sense. Probably would have been a Saturday, Sunday, but because of the whole Euros, late tour, we're not going to, play a friendly over the Community Shield game.
No.
So usually it's the weekend before, or at least a couple
of weekends before. I guess that must be this weekend, the Community Shield game then.
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah.
No, following weekend.
Yeah, the league
Glad
kicks
we're
off.
So researched.
Wait, the league kicks off
next week.
Next week, yeah. The league kicks off next week.
Right.
So the Community Shield is this Saturday.
So United City this week.
That's probably why they didn't, all eyes on that.
Yeah, fair enough. I think this proves a really interesting test. I think we're going to go into the whole who's available, what do we expect to see a little later in the video. But just Leverkusen, I'm guilty of it myself. Like, I watched from afar how well they did. They won the league undefeated, right? Mm-hmm. They then won the cup as well. They got to a Europa League final, so it could easily have been a really historic treble, an undefeated treble, and one of the greatest, if not the greatest achievement in club football ever. Granit Xhaka obviously going there and becoming a huge part of it. He left us last summer, and what a move that's been for him. This is going to prove a really interesting test, Laurie, for Arsenal. I can't say how strong they're going to be, but you imagine they're going to have quite a few of their players. They're looking to get ready for the new season too. And, we're coming up against one of the best sides in Europe right now.
Absolutely. You know what? I was thinking as far as friendlies go, you probably couldn't have picked a better team really right now. I mean, obviously, like people could say Real Madrid and people like that, but what you just mentioned about Leverkusen last season, the Granit Xhaka links, everything just aligns perfectly. So looking forward to it. Should be a really good game.
And I think Xabi Alonso will throw an interesting test for Mikel Arteta. Of course, all the rumours that he might have been going to Liverpool, it didn't materialise. What I find interesting about Leverkusen's shape is actually on the ball. They're not too dissimilar to Arsenal with the sort of 3 and build up, the 2 there, and Granit Xhaka almost as a central midfielder. We playing that role that Zinchenko was playing when he was inverting a couple of years ago. But they do it with wing backs instead. They do it with sort of more narrow players, the likes of Florian Wirtz, a key player too. So actually tactically and with the player quality they've got, again, a really interesting test for Arsenal with 10 days to go till the Premier League season. I think it's a really good chance to really test ourselves now.
Yeah, like Laurie said, I think it's, if you could handpick a friendly, it would be one of the ones you pick. You look at them last season, nearly immaculate. When you include the European run, but domestically they was immaculate. We've got invincibles of our own, and I lived through that time as Laurie did, and to fight on all fronts is difficult, whichever league you're in, and they managed to do it, and they were one game away from perfection across the board. So quality team, and dare I say the two best young coaches in Europe with Arteta and Xabi Alonso.
It's a very fair
and a lot of people will be waiting to see whether they can replicate that form going into the new season.
Yeah.
So a lot of eyes will be on them, won't they? Both
Yeah.
in Germany and abroad. People will be looking and say, oh, last season they come from nowhere, blew up the spot. Can they have a similar type season this season? So
And who would have thought it? When did Havertz sign for Chelsea? 2020?
Yeah.
Who would have thought, around that time that eventually Havertz would be coming in essentially as the Xhaka replacement in that number 8 position? And when you look at that time, how much hype there was around Havertz, how much you doubt there was about Xhaka, to say the least. And looking at it now, it's completely kind of flipped. There's more question marks about Havertz than there is Xhaka. Xhaka in the last couple of years, even I've got to say, in the last couple of years, including his last season at Arsenal, one of the best midfielders in Europe on form, So
I thought the
talking
Euros
to
was
Xhaka,
outstanding.
sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Did you see the comments that he apparently were attributed to him?
Yeah.
He talked about leaving.
Yeah.
2 steps forward. in his
Yeah.
career.
How do you think that will be received?
I've got to be honest, right? I'll come in with this first. I didn't see a problem with it. I thought it was very obvious that he was saying, "Look, I left Arsenal and I've won a league undefeated and a cup.
Yeah.
Got to the Europa League final. I'm a champion in Germany. My career's taken 2 steps forward. He's probably playing some of the best football in his life. I do think that form started at Arsenal, but he's probably only got better. I thought he was amazing at the Euros.
I do agree with you, but do you think, you know how sensitive fans can be?
Oh, we know
Like
how
some
sensitive
fans
fans
will
can be.
no
They
doubt
wouldn't let
be-
the Ian Wright Saka stuff go. We know how
Yeah,
sensitive fans
yeah.
can be. But look, I think this is one of those things where I think he was just stating a fact. And to be honest, right, it's all true. He did take 2 steps. He went and became a champion. He might not be in a bigger club, or he's played for a fantastic manager. He's playing some great football. And then when he was at Leverkusen, they won the league, and he was being asked about those crunch games in our title race. He was saying, "Look, I'm watching. I'm wishing them all the best. I really hope they do it." So he's not shown any lack of support for Arsenal since leaving. I just don't see a big problem with it. What about you, Turkish?
Nor do I really. I don't expect any different. I mean, I don't expect him to say I've taken 2 steps back. He's won the league, he nearly perfect season. To cap off what has been probably one of the most difficult 5 years a footballer can have, from being booed off, throwing his captaincy, a lot of pressure on him at one of the biggest clubs in Europe, because we are, to turning it around here, to going to another side, playing under another young, ambitious manager, and then essentially capping off the 5 years with success. So
Yeah.
I do agree
It
with
is
you
what it
both,
is.
but I think some people might look at that comment in isolation and think, oh, it's got sort of undertones of disrespect about it.
yeah, but you know what? People can look at it like that, and I can look at it like that. We can look at it like that, and find aspects of disrespect, yes. But how about we just focus on ourselves and
I know
win
you
something? I don't care what Xhaka's doing anymore, with all due respect. I just don't care. Big up,
I'm sure
well
he'll get a good
done,
reception.
but let's just go win the league this year, so none of these comments are going viral, because that's what it comes down to. We haven't found success yet, so we're still, kind of wounded. Let's find our success, and none of these comments will hurt. None of these comments will be relevant.
Yeah, totally agree. Beautiful weather here, by the way, in North London.
I know.
Isn't it ironic?
It's great to be
We're
back.
around
People
here
always
to do
ask me why I wear hoodies, yeah?
Yeah.
This is why you come out, it's looking like 25,
Yeah.
and now I need my hoodie, and it's not here because I'm just still on LA, like, it's just...
Yeah, man.
Look, the 11 we want to see. Let's wrap up the video with that. I think, as a blanket statement, I now want to see Arsenal starting to look like what they're going to look like for next season. Now, I appreciate that's more likely to come in the Lyon game. I don't think Saliba, Rice, Saka, Raya, Ramsdale all returning on Saturday means they're ready to start a game against Leverkusen on Wednesday. I hear that. I also think there's an interesting science to it, though, which is they have played competitive football more recently, so they shouldn't be as far away from getting back up to scratch as well. I've got no doubt they look after themselves throughout that 3-week break anyway.
I
Go
would
on.
say, hoping that Calafiori starts. We'll get our first look at him.
Well, this is, I think, where we've got to look really is the likes of Calafiori and actually what he can do with the rest of the 11. Those other players, I think, will probably be at the game. I don't think they'll be in the squad. And then against Lyon, maybe they'll get some minutes in some capacity. So let's build an 11. Dare I say, and I'm going to flip this to you, and you're going to know why I'm flipping it to you, that Raya or Ramsdale should be available to play. What do you think? Well, obviously, we have no expertise on their readiness or whatever, but they didn't really play at the Euros. Raya played a game, Ramsdale didn't at all. So should one of them, if not both, be available for this game?
Both should, but Raya should be playing now. I mean,
You think?
I said before the tour, I think there's an opportunity for Ramsdale to come back early, play some games on tour, maybe, you know, get that affection from the fans back, put a bit of pressure on Mikel, put a bit of pressure on Raya at the start of the season.
And may I cut you and say, I sort of laughed that off as like, come on Turkish, you're being harsh, but Adam Wharton did make it out to the States to play against Wolves.
If you want to do
Palace.
something, you do it at the end of the day. So I still expect Ramsdale to go, and because he didn't take that chance, I think Raya now, the next 2 games, goalkeeper sharpness is a thing as well, commanding his box, a new defender in front of him in Calafiori, Timber returning, essentially another new defender in front of him. It just makes sense. 180 minutes Raya next 2 games, and Ramsdale, hopefully someone comes in for him, because he's not a good backup. So as much as people are saying, oh, it'd be good to keep hold of him, why? This is still love and affection again. We need to stop that. As a backup last season, he came in and nearly cost us in the Carabao Cup. He nearly cost us in the league. So for me, I can't keep him as a backup, and this is coming from someone who's loved him over the years, he's surprised me over the years. But yeah, I don't want to rely on him, and I think he should still be exiting the club soon enough.
And for what it's worth, I'm not sitting here saying, you know, Ramsdale should have come back earlier. You could say that about, maybe some other player. Take your holiday, you due it. I just think it's just interesting that some were sort of outplaying, and you're right, kind of gives them maybe an indication as to where his future's looking. But there are no rumours that he's on his way. One goalkeeper that is on his way is Carl Hine. Apparently Charlton and Barnsley, I think, are the 2 teams in for him. So, at the time of recording, in the last hour or 2, lots of reports saying that he's on the brink of a move there, or to one of those clubs, which makes you think even more so that Raya or Ramsdale must be available to play some minutes tomorrow, because if Hine, who actually played every single minute out in the US, is about to get a move, I don't think they're going to risk him getting injured in a friendly.
Yeah, that would explain then why Hine played those 3 games out there. Also, they're putting him in the shop window. They knew that a move was possibly imminent. And he did do well. In fact, we made him back in the studio while you guys were out there. I know a lot of people went for Ethan Nwaneri. In that first game, we made him man of the match.
Yeah, fair enough.
Courtesy of a couple of the second half saves and then the penalty shootout saves. The goalkeeping situation, again, it's going to be much talked about. I personally think, I'm kind of with Turkish. I personally think that the ship sailed at Arsenal now for Ramsdale. He's in that little group, isn't he? We've seen it with Smith Rowe, he's now gone. I think Eddie's definitely in that group. Reece Nelson's in that group. I think possibly Kivior. These are guys that are not really getting minutes. They have attracted interest from other clubs. They really need to be thinking, look, my career's on the line here. I need to be playing football. You're not really going to get much minutes at Arsenal. Arsenal's a very competitive squad now. We're going for the title. And, the stakes are high. And I don't think when the crunch comes next season, those players that we spoke about are going to get much game time. So they really do need to be thinking about their futures.
Agreed. Let's build the rest of our 11 then. At right back, Ben White. We all happy to see Ben White there?
Yep. He's kind of made that position his own pretty much now. So, Ben White. The season's drawing near. So although it's a pre-season friendly, I think it'll be a competitive game and these guys need to get minutes.
Let's build our centre-back partnership then, because obviously Saliba, I don't think he'll be fit to start, which I think is fair enough, but Arteta's been using Timber in that role in his absence. I did ask him about whether, had to get that in, I did ask him about whether White potentially playing centre-back was an option, but he said physical demands on Timber are better at centre-back than at right-back, plus he doesn't want to break up what we've got on the right-hand side working, so fair enough. So it's probably going to be Timber again then.
Makes sense. I think Timber Gabriel makes sense.
Needs football.
That's a good partnership,
Yeah.
If you're talking, listen, Saliba Gabriel is the ultimate partnership, but you still got that combination of on the ball quality, both robust, but you've got Gabriel's a little bit more physically imposing.
There's a lot of partnerships I say to myself now, and it looks good. It sounds exciting. Timber and Calafiori doesn't sound too bad. Ben White and Calafiori doesn't sound. Ben White, Gabriel.
Yeah.
Gabriel.
Saliba, Calafiori.
100%. There's a few there now that
it's a bit of a conundrum though, because if Timber comes in and does particularly well in these next couple of games, that gives the manager a decision. If you remember at the start of last season, Gabriel Magalhaes was left out for the first couple of games. So
good problem. So what we're saying, Timber, Gabriel.
I believe so.
And left back, who would you start?
Calafiori has to start this one, man. Calafiori has. If Saliba was back, I probably would have said Saliba, Calafiori, just to see how that was in centre back, and then put Timber left back. That's why they're so flexible at the back line. But I think when you have Timber and Gabriel, no Saliba, Tomiyasu's still out injured, it makes sense to give Calafiori his debut. Seems up to speed. He was at the Euros, went off on a little holiday, took part in training with Arsenal over in the US. And now he's been with us a few weeks. I think it makes sense. Start him.
Yeah,
protect
everybody
him.
wants to see him, man. I mean, there was some conjecture that he might play in one of the pre-season games. He didn't make it. I know there was technicalities involving the medical and stuff like that. So he flew out there late, so he didn't play. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing him in an Arsenal shirt, and I think the Leverkusen game's a perfect kind of unveiling for him.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Okay, so we build our midfield. Odegaard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Odegaard looked really good actually.
I thought he was the player of the tour.
Yeah, we called him our MVP. We had a little poll going.
Yeah.
The Arsenal American pre-season tour MVP, and he was the one that got it. So yeah.
Now, the left eight's interesting. Let's leave that for a sec and talk about Jorginho, Partey. Rice again, I'm assuming isn't going to start this game. I need to see more of Partey. I think I know what Jorginho can give, and in pre-season, just continue to show that. We know Jorginho's strengths and his weaknesses, and he's proven a much better player than I think a lot of us fans expected when we signed him for 12 million, to the point we're all happy he got a new contract. We need to see if Partey can get up to anywhere near his 22-23 level. Because I know he played the run in last season, and we actually won all those games, so fair play to him.
He faded though.
But he wasn't at his best. The game was
I was
going to
say, out of
open
interest,
and
what did you
basketball.
guys think? Because back in the studio,
On
it
tour?
was a bit up and down, yeah.
Struggled.
Really?
And by the way, I watched a comp of him in the Liverpool game, and actually he did a lot more good things than I realised. Sometimes I always think you get a better view from TV.
Yeah.
I genuinely
You do.
But there was still something about our midfield that felt a bit open, that felt a little bit exposed.
Yeah.
I need to see more of him personally. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I'm surprised that we seem to be keeping him, but with a year left, I thought we might. He might seek a move, because last year there was rumours as well. But listen, if you look at the figure we could get for him, and how do we reinvest that and get guaranteed better than Partey in 22-23? It's difficult. So all we can do is hope for the 22-23 Partey to return. Don't think we're going to need to rely on him as much. I'm hoping Marino comes in as well this, in the next couple of weeks or so, in the next week ideally. But yeah, for now, getting him up to speed. I'm just wondering why it's not both of them for you.
What do you mean?
Jorginho 6, Partey essentially not necessarily 8, but next to him.
Because I want to start Nwaneri in this game.
Okay,
So
that's fair. No, I'll do that as well. I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that.
In those, I mean, we spoke about players that I think that the game is up. They need to move on. I think there's a little nucleus of players as well that this season is a massive season for them. It's either do or die. And Partey's in that group. Partey, Fabio Vieira.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone in it.
They need to show out, because they don't. And that's probably it.
Yeah, because look, we give Jorginho a 1-year contract, right?
Yeah.
So if Partey now has a solid season next season, maybe we give Partey a year contract, and Jorginho leaves next summer, and he becomes the experienced depth. But if he doesn't, then we'll see how Jorginho is, because midfield's already a place we need to address. Let alone having two of, essentially one of which are starters, 2 players running down with a year left. So midfield is going to be a department where we're going to have to see a lot of investment over the next week, 2.
I think Jorginho stays, I think he's going to be. Remember what El Neni was, where he was like that elder statesman, the respected guy at the club. I could also see Jorginho staying at the club as a player coach, because increasingly I see the interactions between him, the manager, and the players, and he's almost got that senior role where he's talking to players, cajoling them.
I don't want him to do that over here. No, thank you.
Fair enough.
I see coaching ability in him, but no, because you could just see it. He learns off Arteta, who learned off Pep, and then one day he goes Chelsea to manage them, and he fixes their. We're good. I don't want to build up a manager for Chelsea.
I see what you're saying. Look, let's get back to the midfield thing. I giggled when you asked me why it wasn't Jorginho and Partey, and I said because Nwaneri. I know we've been having the back and forth on Forever Arsenal about whether we should be relying on a player like Nwaneri.
Friendly.
And look, of course, always. But for what it's worth, I agree. We should not be going to next season going, Nwaneri's our starting left 8, brilliant, we're going to challenge for the title. But I want to keep seeing him because he's been playing at a level in pre-season where I'm like, let's just a little bit more. Now Leverkusen, now let's get more first teamers around you. Let's see how it looks, Calafiori with Nwaneri, with Martinelli, because that could work really, really well. All with the view of, well, Marino's going to come back in, or Rice is going to be that left 8, and eventually Nwaneri will at best be a squad player. But while we're still missing some players, for me, I want to see him getting these really crucial minutes.
I think of all the young guys, he staked his claim the most. to be playing.
I think so.
A major role, or
Salah
if not a
Lewis
major
Kelly
role,
were
not
close.
major role.
Yeah, Lewis Kelly.
But I
as well,
think
yeah.
of all those guys, and they did do well. I mean, I was also impressed with the young guy Salah.
Yeah,
He
did
played
well.
really well as well. So, but of all those guys, I think he was like the standout. You're thinking, yeah, man, I could see him getting a lot of football, if not a lot of football, but some decent amount of minutes next season.
I'm just trying to find balance with it because, again, some of the comments have taken it way wider than mark. Well, listen, this is how I see it with Nwaneri. Start him, Leverkusen, makes sense. I think
Yeah.
Partey, Nwaneri and Odegaard,
It's a
you know,
nice
they can
three,
ball
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
But in the season, the only time I really want to see him is, listen, 2-0 up against Wolves in the 70th minute, 3-0 up against them in the 60th
No, I get
minute.
it, yeah.
You know, maybe we're
so
comfortable
you don't see him as
somewhere
like a
else.
breakout player.
But that is breaking out, you know. At the end of the day, Fabregas's breakout season didn't come with an over-reliance on him in the campaign. It came out, it was a breakout because there was not many eyes on him expecting much. If all the eyes are on Nwaneri expecting something, how can it be a breakout? It's going to become an expectation. And I don't want that for a 17-year-old. For me, I want him to still, you know, go under the radar, come on when things are good. And yeah, in the odd game this season, I think he can come on and have an impact in a game where it might be 0-0 or 1-1 or we need to get a goal back or something. Yes, he can.
I could see him definitely playing in the cup competitions. The League
Carabao,
Cup
yeah,
and the FA
Carabao,
Cup.
yeah. But FA Cup has picked up importance because we need to win something this season, and FA Cup is included in that. So there is no, I'm not of the belief we've thrown away cups over the last few years because I think you need to rotate. But I am of the belief it's time to win now. So there's I don't want no excuses.
All right, let's build our final front three then. I'm going to count with it. Jesus on the right, Havertz, Martinelli. I see that as
Sorry, say that again?
Havertz up front,
Yeah.
with Jesus on the right, Martinelli on the left. Because I think you've got two of your starting players in their best positions. I think Havertz is Arsenal's number 9. I think Jesus obviously looked good on tour, but with the way we ended last season, I think Havertz still has that position. I think Martinelli is a better player than Trossard still. I know Trossard was clutch at the end of the campaign. And for me, when Saka's missing, Jesus is the best option out on that right-hand side. So that's the three I'd go with. I wanted to see it against Liverpool. We didn't see it. I'm throwing it out there again. Would you two do anything different?
No, I'll do that.
Cool. Trossard.
Yeah, listen.
Vieira on the right. Nelson had a good
Yeah,
pre-season.
there's options there.
Eddie.
But, you're obsessed, aren't you? Really?
I'm being serious. He said, "Well, can't I mention a player in our squad without being paid?"
Listen, man, I mean, one of the things that the pre-season tour did show me, and I'm pretty sure it did you guys as well, is that we do need to be signing a striker, man, because, listen, Havertz,
we
we
did.
all know he had a good end to the season. We know he's got certain attributes that are very, very useful. However, if we're going to be winning the likes of titles and Champions Leagues and things like even FA Cups, you need somebody up top that's going to convert those chances. Said it many times before, football, especially at the highest level, relatively low scoring games. Chances get a finite amount of chances. We have to take them. And I'm not sure, I mean, I saw a video Robbie did out there. I've got to disagree with him, I've got to take him up on that. He was saying that he thinks Havertz will be 20 plus.
Yeah, but you know, Robbie, man, he gets carried away.
I'm not so sure. And again, I'm not disrespecting Havertz, but I've not seen that in Havertz in his career so far, whether it be at Chelsea, Arsenal, Germany. I've not seen that.
He's going to
clinical
caveat it by
finisher.
saying 20 in all comps, but 20 in all comps for
No,
starting striker
I
at
asked him to
Arsenal should be a
clarify his
given.
comment. He meant 20 plus in the league.
No way.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Okay, sorry, I'll take
And
yeah.
I'm sure, I'm not
I
sure
didn't
if
think
I
he was
agree
that
with
mad,
that.
but yeah. Here we are.
Do you?
I don't think he will. I think he's capable of it. I think, what did he get? 11 up front or 10 up front?
I think it was
Running?
13 he got in the Premier League.
No, yeah, but I mean, 3 of them must have been racked up before the start of the
Yeah,
year when he was really playing up front. So I think he's capable of it, mainly because we're a team that attack lots and create lots of chances. But I wouldn't be putting my life savings on it. But he's probably capable. I still think we need something in that forward line anyway. But yeah, anyway, let us know in the comment section below. What would your starting 11 be? Are we starting to look more first team? Do you expect any of the likes of Rice, Xhaka, Saliba to be playing any minutes in this? I personally don't, but potentially the goalkeepers, as we've mentioned as well. Would you give Nwaneri a start? And what would you do at centre-back? Lots of options. Kivior, Gabriel, Timber, Kivior, Calafiori, centre-back, left-back, Zinchenko, Lewis Kelly, whoever it might be. We've got lots of options in defence. I'm excited to see what Arteta goes with. Big thanks to Laurie. Big thanks to Turkish. Quick score prediction is...
I'll go draw, 2-2.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I was going to say
think
that.
it's going to be a 2-2 as well. Do you?
I said that.
Listen, I'd love Arsenal to surprise me in a little reshot. I just think, yeah, it really depends how strong the 11 goes. If he goes to the strong 11 as I'm sort of predicting, then I'll actually go with a 2-1 Arsenal win.
One thing
but
I would
think
say,
it'll
though,
rotate more than...
I do think it'll be a competitive game. I don't think
Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
be like pass
Needs
it
to be.
around and
Bournemouth,
shake
the
hands
Bournemouth
after.
game was competitive,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
fair play.
yeah.
All right, everyone, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, helps us a lot, and of course subscribe to the channel if you want updates on everything happening on AFTV with all the latest Arsenal news. We'll be live with a watch along, of course, you know, keeping up with everything that goes on throughout the game, and Robbie will be here outside the ground as well, interviewing fans. So make sure you check out everything coming out on AFTV, and we'll see you very soon.